What if I told you, what if I said to you, an innocent black male spent over 30 years in prison because of his defense lawyer and the prosecution? Put up the picture. That's exactly what happened to Sullivan Walter, New Orleans man, who was wrongfully convicted for rape, has now been freed after 36 years in prison. He was freed from the state prison on August 25th, 2022. Why? Because a judge overturned his conviction. The New Orleans man was 17 years old when he was arrested, prosecuted as an adult, and sentenced to 39 years for rape and burglary that he never committed. And his defense lawyers knew it. Let me give you the background. Neither Walter's defense attorney nor prosecutors presented the DNA evidence at his trial. His semen reportedly was not a match for the assailant who held a knife to a woman's throat on May 9th, 1986, and threatened to harm her 8-year-old son while he slept. The suspect mostly wore a mask, and the room was reportedly dark. But the victim, now deceased, identified Mr. Walter as the culprit 6 weeks later. So remember, prosecutors also have a sworn duty to present evidence that may exclude an individual who has been targeted for investigation or prosecution. A defense attorney also has a moral obligation to present the best defense possible for their client. You literally have both attorneys violating rule of law, standard protocol, ethics, and the bar. Both of them. There's more. Detectives added Mr. Walter's picture to a photo lineup shown to the woman after he was arrested for an unrelated crime. The victim made a cross-racial identification. Studies show they can increase the chance of mistaken identity. The victim's identification was the only evidence used to convict him. Now remember what year this happened. This was at a time when all you had to say was a black man did it, and that black male would get convicted. Hell, it's almost like that today. There's more to this story. According to the reports, the seminal fluid retrieved from the woman's shorts showed that the perpetrator had a non-sequitur blood type. However, no one tested Walter's blood to see if this was him. 2 years later, after Walter filed an appeal, his blood was tested and it showed he could not be the individual identified. Still, even after all of that, his request for a new trial was denied, because the expert who presented the results in the trial backtracked on the findings, saying he could not say where the fluids were from a non-secretor. Local prosecutors said the district attorney at the time asked the experts to, and I quote, fudge the findings. Once again, another illegal act. Let's put up the picture of this father-son duo, because this is a fascinating backstory. An Innocence Project New Orleans report shows Harry Connick Sr., that's the father of Harry Connick Jr., was the DA from 1973 to 2002. That particular person, that DA, had a track record of withholding evidence that would acquit defendants. The report points to at least 34 cases where evidence was withheld during Connick's tenure, including 9 death row cases. According to the National Registry of Exonerations, Black people make up about 13% of the country's population, but damn near 50% of wrongful convictions in the United States of America. Okay, so what happens now? Are they talking about arresting the attorneys who were involved? Or maybe the other legal representatives who failed this black male who was a kid at the time of arrest and railroading? No, they're going to let it go. He will likely get some kind of payout. But the individuals who were in charge of this criminal action against him, they will not face jail time like he did. He's an innocent man who was put in prison because of criminal and corrupt attorneys. What happens to them? Will they be disbarred? Will they face charges at some point? Likely not. Routinely, we allow for corrupt actors to get away with corruption when they're inside of the judicial system or the criminal justice system at large. You see, I have a theory, I have a sentiment, I have an expression. Here it is. Those who are inside of the criminal justice system as administrators should actually be held to a higher standard of accountability, not a lower one. That's the way we send a message clearly. If you want to be engaged in criminal actions against citizens in this country, and we give you positions of public trust, if you are caught, you will face a more severe penalty than anyone else. That's how this should work. All right, Ms. Burbank, thoughts here.
Yeah, this goes to show that women who have been raped are not the only people suffering from police not testing rape kits. They've got backlogs in the thousands. But this case specifically also got me thinking, at this point, we really need an audit and review of every case, seriously, where someone has been put in prison, especially Black Americans. People's lives are ruined today, still every day, by systemic injustice, but we should start with the oldest cases as well. Keeping in mind that the 13th Amendment, slavery is still legal. It states specifically slavery is legal or illegal except as punishment for a crime. So if this young man was in a for-profit prison and was forced to do labor while in there, I think we need a precedent-setting Supreme Court case where his constitutional rights have been violated, because even the people I talk to who are not especially critical of the penal system are very critical of for-profit prisons.
Yeah, well said, very well said.